He's like, do you think I'm gonna make it to the coach before these guys make it to the coach? No. And the people at the booth are like, probably not.
Did you it's a whole nother story. Okay, I love that.
I think Friday here at home, I was so excited. But my husband on Saturday,
Are you gonna do geography song or are you just gonna still be
laid out some low lights? We are with pitch music. Anyway, she was
gross
feature performers.
Yeah, I don't need that.
But then the mom, still here, so normally she just kind of sings like that.
Yeah.
And then I think yes, for probably so of course
We're just I don't think we should rush.
How long is it?
Yes.
That's tomorrow.
Yes. So I was like, I was like,
Well, I guess I could look
at worse is not that I'm ready to know, but it's like it's a few lots of her. Yeah, at least it's
You're not. Stop saying that. Stop saying that.
that's terrifying.
I
I always feel like you should be your lawyer to just draft something else to remove it.
Sunday, okay.
I feel like you're just gonna know.
Yeah, I thought it was your daughter. So I saw this picture, I would say that. Isn't that a great
Yes, but they were just like,
we've been so many times after.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some.
So funny, the back goes before.
That's great.
At church, if you change a different seat though, you might get somebody mad.
I think you're fine.
Does that mean that you're not responsible?
Yes.
that's why it's hitting micro.
Yep. When I was married in the first year, only a couple years
But I was looking at it, like,
I like that it's been a long time.
everybody's in one room, so so we'll have a couple of slides.
No, that must be the reason. I like it. I like it, but shorter. So I don't ever still get.
We have 5 million information, like if anyone wants information, it's just go.
So yeah, I didn't do it.
Probably should have just where did you go?
Jury in my seat.
Awesome.
How was your
I
birthday?
did. Good. Golfed out. A lot of golf. No. No.
I'm sure you did.
Enjoy your golf.
I did. Good morning. Good morning.
Golfed out?
I am a golf
Is
out.
that a thing? Is that
possible?
It's hard to go to college or something like that.
Where were you guys?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I usually dress for it.
Okay, yeah.
I used to wear suits, and my first 10 years I wore suits.
Oh,
Suits and
late Friday.
then I just realized I really need to go at least poke in the crawl space and I need to go up and down.
I do that too. Because nobody, I went to, so yeah, when I had my heart
And
inspection.
then I walk the yard.
Yeah.
And then get stuck in when you walk across stone.
Thank you for breakfast.
I was gonna say, as long as I wait for it, once I crack here, I'm like, I don't know if I'm well enough.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna know what's
Plus, I know.
Exactly.
All right.
Good morning.
That's what it's rest of the task. My inspector doesn't worry about having this. And my client.
Well, my dad, I thought my dad was also
In the new house. Without
I tell my
Oh my gosh. I just said.
Where do you need
I wonder if I can turn it off near the fridge. We were messing with the water fountain. No, I have a plumber. I'll make a call. But then the sink wasn't. I'll make a call. I'll make a call.
Yeah, have your guy.
I'll have my guy call. Call your guy.
Yeah, when I'm on weights, on my leg press, my knees. I don't think I need to go up on weights.
Are you big man?
The chance of the red team. Would y'all, would you put in this everybody?
You want me to introduce this gang?
Oh,
You
God.
want me to introduce them?
Don't need any
I do, yes,
introduction.
I think they're themselves.
Why don't we have them introduce themselves?
Right here.
Alright, well, I'm Sam Metzger, I started about 3 months ago and I'm enjoying my time.
Fabulous.
I'm Paula Sewell. I started about 6 months ago, and I'm enjoying it as well.
I like it.
Leah Akiki, I know a lot of y'all. Hi.
Good morning, Ballroom Pages.
And now we have known each other for a few years.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Let's go back here.
Brazil.
All right. I think you are. I'll ask that go. That's correct.
Jamie,
Hey,
you
Jamie,
mentioned as
welcome.
well.
Good to see you.
Lynn Anthony.
Russell Barber.
I'm Becky Ozzie. Morning.
Anyway, they told me they're gonna come once a month and join our meeting, which I'm loving having them here. Is anybody here for the very first time when I introduced? No, for the very first time introduced? All right, someone give me some good news. How was your weekend? Clark, how's your weekend?
Well, I got some expert assistance from this guy named Rob Protz. Had listed a property out in Dallas, Georgia, and I was just getting really no activity whatsoever. Well, a little bit. And he said, why don't you, so I sent him an email and he responded and he said, why don't you just start calling some of the agents and the builders in the area? And I'm like, it sounds so, like that's the best you can give me. And so I did it and it's under contract. And one of those is one of the ones so you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Why'd you look at me when you said old dog?
Just leave it alone.
Clark, you know the answer to everything is lead gen,
Yeah.
right?
I was always taught the hands, never mind.
Rhonda's gonna tell you all today, during his lessons learned, how he called his team leaders. His team leader was not 100% correct in his answer. That's the way both learned this morning. But the area we talked about is great. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
We'll talk about it at the next second. Okay, anybody else has some good news to share? Good news, who loves all the kids being back in school today? Yay! Congratulations. All right, anybody else have good news? Come on, then we'll share. Good news, good news. How's the baby? Wonderful. I take you in the mouthful of food. Good.
That's all right.
All right, that's right. Let's move on then, guys. Let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, partners, come on, Lon Thomas.
All right, guys. I've been given an email, so pardon me for looking at this. Carrie is gone today, extended Labor Day vacation, so she wanted to make one announcement for you guys, that she's starting something. She said she'd send the email out, but on Wednesday the 13th, and for every other Wednesday in this month, she's gonna have an hour Zoom presentation with Cheryl King in our firm, and you guys all know, and it's kind of themed, she said, like set up for success September. It'll be going over all kind of checklists, closing related stuff, probate issues, divorce related issues that you guys come in contact with on a weekly, if not daily basis. So just look for the email on that, because that'll start the 13th. So whenever that is. And she said she'd send out emails and all of that. So I know you guys are busy, because you got, like Clark said, there's all kinds of situations, because I was out of town this weekend like everybody else. And I bet I had 15 conversations with you guys over contractual related things, and I love that. So keep that coming. If you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me or Mark or anybody in our firm for that matter. So I know one of the attorneys that.
While you're here, we're going to tell you about the situation we had, because this is when we had involved the closing attorney and how you would have handled it. So rival attorney, you
God, no prep for this. So I'm going to preface this by saying there's a reason we have relationships with law firms, right? There's a million law firms that you could use. The relationship is what's so key. Over a holiday weekend, I'll give you the scenario. So Thursday, late closing, 4 o'clock closing. They did not, everybody signed, they leave, the attorney's trying to get the wire.
From the lender or the buyer?
From the lender.
No lender in this room, but go ahead.
Does not, it's no lender in this
That's
room.
exactly right.
Okay? Wire does not show up, right? And I'm still waiting to find out if there is, when that happens, what do most attorneys do?
You close an escrow, and you get the parties to sign an escrow agreement pending whatever it is you're waiting for in your example of wire.
Right.
and the lender has to agree to that, and the parties have to agree to that.
So, we're still trying to figure out if the attorney did an escrow, right? Fast forward to Friday. Lender's in Florida, and wire doesn't show up. They tell via phone that, hey, the wire was sent, but it's after 5 o'clock on Friday, so now closing had to be on Thursday. Seller, who is also an agent, is texting our agent at closing. If this doesn't close today, I am terminating. Across the table. So,
Saturday morning, my phone rings.
Saturday,
It's Rob.
I find out on Saturday morning, right? And I go back, so I'm an ex-lender, so I go back to my lender thoughts is, hey, you need money there. So I ask,
It's a necessary ingredient.
it really helps.
But they asked me, he says, Jim, is it closed? Since they signed the paperwork, they said, yeah, I said, then I'm gonna get closed. And
I
look
wouldn't,
at
I
that.
wouldn't agree with that.
I know, so they're smart with me.
Well, I kept searching,
Uh-huh.
right? And I was like, what I told our agent was, listen, whatever the answer is, it's Saturday on a weekend, extended weekend. So whether I give you the right answer or the wrong answer, it doesn't matter because nothing is gonna happen until 9 o'clock on Tuesday morning. So, just chill. And I kept thinking, and the other guy was not chilling. So late last night, I text Lon. I'm like, Lon, and I knew where he was, and I figured he was driving back. I said, you shoot me Cheryl King's number, right? And I even put something on our Facebook thing, and I got a bunch of texts with her number. So I talked to Cheryl King last night. So here is the deal. Everybody can sign. That's great. That is not a closed transaction.
There's some necessary, if you think of it, the checklist, one of the necessary ingredients.
It's the consideration.
Is money.
Yeah.
And until the money is there, you don't have that component.
And she mentioned something that was very, very important is normally if you do a escrow agreement and it's a late close, they happen all the time, right? 4 o'clock closing, people are late, and it's after the wires, right? And wire time is usually 5:30, okay? How long do you do the escrow agreement for?
Whatever the lender allows us to, but.
A day
if there's-
usually?
Yeah, usually it's, I will let you go by 5 o'clock, business closed tomorrow. But that, if there's a lender involved, they're the one that get to determine that amount. If it's a cash transaction, we can agree to whatever you guys want to agree to.
Yeah. So this is a lender problem, right? The buyers have done everything. This guy wants to terminate, and he actually has the right to terminate. So my advice to our agent this morning, after talking with Jim and our attorneys and everything, is this. It is what it is. We can't change anything. We can't change that guy. Hopefully the money shows up and people's attitude changes once they know that that money can be wired to his bank account by noon today. He might be fine. If he still wants to terminate, he has that right to terminate. The buyer may, because this is America, you can do whatever you want, right? I could be whatever I want, whatever. You can sue for anything.
Sue anybody for
If
anything.
he's selling me his house and he decides not to, he's got someone else with a better deal, I could sue him for that. I could be totally wrong, but what does that do to his title?
It's a cloud. And if he goes and files the action, in the list pendings part of
That's
the records,
pending.
that means that the property cannot be, transferred with clear title, until the resolution of that underlying suit is over.
And it could take forever.
Drag it out forever. Counterclaim.
Right, so does this seller, we're gonna find out today, just wanna be a pain in the neck, right? Or does he want his money and just move on? He probably has another offer out there, but
What does the bank say?
Alright.
I mean, the bank just saying
that's the
there's
thing.
like it's in that.
well, I went with the dumb, never assume, okay, I went with the assumption, oh, it's in Florida.
maybe the thing, the
Storm.
yeah, the storm flooded the center or whatever, you know, it's in Miami.
The buyer showed confirmation of the wire, right? So it's really just.
No, but it's the lender money.
It's the lender money.
Not the buyer's money.
It's a $950,000 purchase. I don't think they're worried about the 90,000. He was putting 10% down.
Right.
I think they're looking for
Looking for the 860.
the 860. That's gonna make it.
So end of the day, guys, what the answer is, nobody knows. We'll go to court.
Some of those issues you don't know.
That's
There's
right.
no communication of it.
But which hat did I, I'm gonna come to you, which hat did I have on just now? The one for the what? Buyer. And if I represent the buyer, I'm gonna have my hat on, I'm gonna say, yeah, it's a closed deal. Cause I can make that point, I don't know, I could be wrong. The only way for me to
So
decide that is for it to go to court. Yes, sir, Clark.
So, the seller, doesn't the deal just terminate unless you extend the closing date?
Correct.
Unless the parties agree to.
Did they extend the closing date?
No, so our agent on Saturday morning when she was freaking out, she had sent them a 8-day unilateral,
Okay.
right? Awesome. Well, if you read the contract and everything, it has to be before closing. Moral of the story is two things. Know the attorney you're working with, and more importantly, more importantly, the lender that you're dealing with.
Amen.
So I asked the question, why, yes, I asked why or who chose this lender?
That's right.
The buyer works for that bank, right? And I was like, you need to get your buyer to like go up someone's rear end all the way up that place and, you know.
That's even more terrible.
So the moral of the story is, is that if we used a lender in this room and this closing attorney, we wouldn't have a problem this morning.
Correct.
And that's the moral of the story.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Question, or actually, will you explain the 8-day unilateral and what it can and cannot be used on both sides?
Probably not in a. You know what? Email Cheryl King because she's a guru and she spends her whole day coming up with conceptual things regarding the contract, and she knows it backward and forward much better than me.
Okay.
I will say, and she'll be happy to answer that and talk to you because that's something we could have a class on.
It's a good class.
And to your point, it's evolving. There's things that scenarios that have come up that weren't contemplated when that 8-day unilateral was implemented to the point that it's resulted, they clarify this contract and change it every year.
Right.
And so I think there's probably gonna be some changes in the verbiage on that specific document, but she would be happy to talk ad nauseum about that.
Thanks, Mark.
Humor says, without sin. Every single time.
I love that.
Without sin. Because if you're wrong, only way that you're wrong is the court of law that you're wrong. Why can you have a great informed lawyer opinion? My lawyer can have a different opinion, right? Sure. So we're down to what? Send it. Your team will stand behind you. All right, who is next? Who is up? Come on, Mr. Green.
We are. Well, this will be a less contentious section of the meeting today. I'm Reed Clark with Silverton Mortgage.
I'm Danielle Delaney with Silverton Mortgage. Good morning, everybody.
All right, guys, I'm gonna tell you the what, and she's gonna tell you the why. How about that?
Okay.
So I want you guys to, does anybody in here play golf?
Not well.
I didn't say well. I mean, if you go out and thrash it, but you enjoy it, that's fine. So the Silverton Foundation, which we're gonna tell you about in a minute, our annual golf tournament is on October the 9th this year, and it is at TPC Sugarloaf, which is like the Mac Daddy. I would hope that some of you guys, we're gonna send an email out, I want you to consider making a contribution or paying to play, one or the other. This is for a great cause. This tournament is a little bit different this year because in the past, everywhere we played, which has been great courses like Shadow Lawn, Setting Down, different places like that, part of the fee to pay also went to the foundation. But we just found out 3 weeks ago at TPC, none of that money is going to the foundation, it's going to pay. So we are looking for people to make contributions. And now we're going to tell them what the foundation does in this particular story.
Yeah, so apologize, I have to read my phone a little bit
but, I wanna get all the information accurate. So the Silverton Foundation provides mortgage, rent, and short-term housing assistance for families, allowing parents to focus 100% on getting their children better so they can all return home together. So we wanted to tell you about a recent family that we supported, with the Silverton Foundation, little Ivy.
This is Ivy. She's a real person. We're not making up this name. This is
Little Ivy was
hypothetical.
born with a congenital heart defect that affects normal blood flow through the heart. This happens when a baby's heart does not form correctly as the baby grows and develops in the womb. Ivy has been hospitalized at Monroe Carell Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt, where she had a catheterization procedure shortly after birth. Ultimately, she will also require heart surgery, which would require additional hospitalization. Mom is not able to return to work as she lives out of state and travels back and forth to be with Ivy. Once Ivy can return home, Mom will need to be with her to monitor her closely. So how did we help? We helped, although we could not lessen the pain that her family must feel watching their little one go through these procedures. The Silverton Foundation was able to assist by providing 2 months of rent payments. We were happy to be able to ease the financial burden so that her family can focus on being with Ivy and providing her with loving care. Yeah.
So this is the 10th year anniversary of the Silverton Foundation, and we're at about 115 years worth of mortgage and rent payments that we pay for families with sick kids. So a portion from every closing we do, which is another good reason to refer us,
Yes.
goes to the foundation. That's where this money comes from, that and employee contributions and the golf tournament. So we'll forward it out. Hope you guys would see fit to make a contribution. Thanks.
Yes.
Any mortgage questions? I mean, we do mortgages.
I want to brag on them really quick because I have a condo that's closing and it's like a 9 business day close for a condo. And it was like over the holiday weekend, like, yeah, we're already very close, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can meet all the fast contingencies, and rates are looking a little bit better this week, so,
Fingers crossed.
You're on the way.
And if it helps to open up wallets a little bit, Silverton and Supreme are very generous in donating to Quan Cares and a lot of the Quan things that we do and KW Cares. So if you could return the favor, even for $5, it's always appreciated.
Yes.
Thanks, guys.
Where are the races? Where are they?
Mid
It's like you
sevens.
said
We'll
it.
say there. How about that? Mid sevens.
Yeah.
That's a range. They have a 7 in front of them. Unless they, the client can still buy their rate down into the 6s, but I, in most cases, would not recommend that.
I'd be happy to give you a quote after the meeting on a specific
That was
scenario.
a better answer.
Why wouldn't you recommend the buy down?
First of all, because of the extreme cost right now, in most cases, the rate sheets are wonky right now. Typically, what you would see is with a higher rate and lower rates, you would see a gradual increase in cost to get a lower rate. Now it's like falling off a cliff to get the lower rate in most cases. The other reason is it doesn't make sense to pay, let's say a client's going to pay, in my opinion, $6,000 to buy their rate down from 7.75 to 6.99. I'm just making up a number. Okay, that money, whenever they get ready to refinance, which is hopefully going to happen in the next year or so, that money's gone, right? So, but it is a bit of going to Vegas, and I have this conversation in depth. I say, you have to make this decision. I don't know the answer. But it's like, do I want to take a lower rate now, and then rates drop and go, shoot, I shouldn't have paid that extra money to buy the rate now. You know, I just, to me, I probably would not. I would probably go with the higher rate and not buy the rate down. And I think my friends at Supreme. Now, you can do, there's a difference. If you do a 2-1 buy down, that's a different issue because that money buys the rate down and whatever portion is not used to subsidize the interest rate, like for example, let's say that 10 months from now you get to refinance. Well, you've still got a portion of money that hasn't been used yet to subsidize that interest rate, and it goes to lower the payoff on your loan. So that money's not lost. So, yeah.
So that may be the better option.
If they're bound and determined to get something better in the short term, yeah, that's a better option. Yeah. Great question. Yes, ma'am.
What about arms?
I'm a leg man.
Don't know.
Sorry, don't like that? But I'll be here all week. Adjustables can be a good option. I will tell you that, and I'm just gonna be frank, the only people that have got good adjustables right now mainly are credit unions. Yep, just be honest. I'm not gonna sit there and try to tell because they're putting them in their portfolio, they're not gonna sell them and have to make money with them. They're getting the ancillary, the bank accounts with it and all that stuff. Some of it, I wonder sometimes how that's all gonna pan out. But guys, you gotta understand, credit unions have got a subsidy. They are treated differently than anybody else, and I don't personally think it's right. You know, you don't pay intangibles tax. Why? Well, because they're considered a nonprofit. Really? Are they really a nonprofit? Or are they just like everybody else? So, I don't know, that's just my thought.
And we are also still offering our refinance program where if a client refinances within 3 years of their closing date, we will waive all lender and appraisal fees. So I feel like that, you know, I mentioned that, when I'm locking someone in, I will mention that, and I feel like it kind of eases the nervousness of locking, or, you know, the rates now if there is.
And so when you see the ads that say, we'll do a free refinance for you in the future, guys, it's not a free refinance. There are cut fees on the refinance in the future. Nobody's doing a free refinance because you're not gonna pay. Yeah, anyway, I'm not gonna do that.
Questions, all? Give a hand up. Thank you very much. Sunrise, Union Storage, come on, they brought us some delicious breakfast this morning.
Thank you.
Give a hand, come on, y'all.
I'm Charlie Nerity, one of the owners of the Sunrise Union Storage, which is right here in Scottsdale. So we work together, you've said this 100 times, like, nobody wants to refer the mover. But when your client is calling us in the summertime, especially saying, I need to be out tomorrow, that's where you're getting the horrible stories. Like, when they're meeting with you, you need to tell them, start getting estimates from different movers, because you need to make sure that everything is out of the house, so you can show the house, or you can, you know, take the things, put it in storage. If you need storage in store, we do international, we do local, residential, commercial. We can handle whatever your needs may be. If it's a specialty item, high value items, if they're remodeling, you wanna put it into storage. If they're having a house built and their house sold quicker, we can put it in storage. So just give us a call.
What question do you have? Yes, sir, Rob.
Packing. So for older people like me and Reed's age, right? Will you come and pack for us?
And so we have, we are silver certified, so we took special courses to deal with, like when you have a parent or a loved one that's going into memory care, special needs, or they're just old enough and they just don't wanna deal with all the packing. They've been in the house for 30-something years. Not only do we do the packing, but we work with several organizers in the area that can help, where when you're the realtor and you're going into the home and they're like, oh, look, I got this from 1922 or whatever. You don't have time for that. You have the thing, I mean, it's just reality. So we have organizers that actually will come out and work with them to understand, like, this is not necessary, this is necessary.
Silver certified.
Yes.
Ooh.
That's nice.
We don't have to worry about that.
No.
And you all, this is the quickest way to stop referrals, is to give them a bad move.
Oh,
yeah.
That's the quickest way to stop referrals.
It
Hey,
took us,
guys.
it took us a while. We've done a few, I'm not sure if they're here, but we've done a few local interstate and just packing equipment into storage for some of the agents from here, so.
Yeah, so we love good movers because they make us look good.
How much notice do you need?
How much what?
Notice.
Right now,
How far
because
are
of
you
the market, we're scheduling about 3 to 5 weeks in advance. So depending if they're going out of state, you wanna give as much notice as possible so they can get, I want you to get estimates from other companies. I don't want to be the only person that you're sending somebody to give an estimate. So I'm not saying, give me all your business. I'm just saying, give us an opportunity to help you guide them so they're gonna go. If it's something local, we can do it in as little, I would say 2 weeks notice, but you do wanna make sure that you give enough notice.
Say that again, 3 to 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And we're wanting to do contracts how quickly?
Like 2 weeks.
3.
Yeah, so it's super important, like, that's why I say when they list the house, tell them, get estimates for movers. Yeah.
Right.
Just asking you about the silver certified
recommend, doing additional time if it's something like that, to get those people moving?
Depending, if they're in the house for like 40 years, so people think we just come in and throw everything on the truck and get to the place. If we're packing and we're going through everything, we need a day or two to pack, then you're gonna load, and we'll work with you, so we're loading one day and then deliver the next day, so you wanna keep that in mind. Never book the mover on closing day, please, for everything holy. I can't tell you how many times like, no, we can do it, we're gonna be fine, and we get to the destination, and we've already loaded the house, got to the new house, and they come back crying like, something happened at closing, it didn't happen. We still have to charge them because they've already done work, so that's one of the scenarios you wanna tell them, no, don't move on the day of closing, push for, the day after closing, or maybe the day before.
It used to be common.
I'm like, day after's not gonna happen anymore.
We think we'll give for breakfast. We love breakfast. On a quick side note, you all realize that if we get a couple of complaints about our vendor list, what happens to that vendor? What happens to that?
They're gone.
They're gone. ALC votes them off the vendor list. Is that true? Yeah, so that's, just realize that. And so guys, if they're on our vendor list, that means that we check them out and we also know about them. And if we get a couple of complaints about them, what happens? They go off the list. I have one vendor still mad at me because I'm off the list. You not care about that?
That's why we don't.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I feel like I know what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, exactly what you.
But share your good stories too. When you like a vendor, share them with your friends.
What'd you ask?
Share the good stories too. When you like a vendor, share it with your friends on
100%.
Facebook.
But everybody eyes up this, that's what I was going to teach you that, okay? But remember, if you have a bad experience, let someone on the ALC or me know, because we didn't know that. If you're having a bad experience, let us know. Forget once, like everyone having a bad day. Vendor, yeah. One's okay. We get 2 or 3, they go off the list. All right, let us move on. Y4C2Ts. This is our belief system. And let's see which one today. Who we the one today? Who am I? Gina, what's your favorite one today?
Teamwork.
Tell me why it's teamwork.
I feel like if you start a transaction and everybody's on the same page and cooperating and working together for the end result, it makes it a very smooth transaction for both sides.
The agent on the other side is not your enemy, they are your what? Teammate. So I love that one. And after being with my family all weekend long, I would tell you my favorite is seek first to understand communication. I'll leave it right there. Family and not communicate, which I get. So we will move on. Script Mastermind, it is every Wednesday from 9 to 11. Come learn your scripts, you all. You don't know what to say when you don't know what the answer should be. So please come learn your scripts on Wednesday, 9 to 11. Completed the buyer burger agreement. Yes, ma'am.
I just had an email from Angela. We're gonna reschedule that to the 11th.
Okay. It's gonna be rescheduled until the 11th. All right, we're gonna do that. Career night, Rob.
Yes, we're having career night on September 6th.
Tomorrow.
Awesome. Please send anybody you've got. I want to thank a lot of people in here. You guys have been sending us referrals and everything for new agents and current agents. So that's what Jim and I do all day long. We're trying to help grow this office, and we want good people that you know.
So everybody know what K-Score is? What is K-Score?
Keller Williams School of Real
It's
Estate.
a school. We have and what does it cost you to go to our school of real estate?
Nothing.
Zero. Now it is online. The ones of us that don't learn very well online because we're ADD, that may not be the best one for you, but this one is a free school. And we're a lot of people in there right now getting their license to join this office, which is cool. 3 hours free seating on new construction Thursday, September the 7th. From 1 to 4, All America Document Inspect Service, exactly right. So please come, AmeriSpec was called, and that's what it is. Anyway, that's coming up, and it'll be CE for you this Thursday, September the 7th. All right, trivia night. Who wants to talk about trivia night?
I'll take that one. The trash talk has begun. So September 16th, which is Saturday, 2 weeks from now. Come on out. Vendors are invited too. We're gonna be in Patty Jackson's backyard. If you haven't signed up and you show up, we'll just put you on a team. It's real informal, aside from the ones that are already getting excited and claiming victory. But there'll be prizes, there'll be snacks, there'll be beverages. adult beverages or otherwise, so come out, it's a lot of fun. But please sign up so we know how much to buy. Otherwise,
You need to bring your own adult beverage though, right?
Well, we were gonna have some wine and some beer, some light adult beverages, but bring your own, and if you don't register, we don't have enough beer and wine, then that's on you.
I agree. So guys, please come to that. Okay, what's next in housing? September 21st. Now guys, this is gonna be, well, I'm still figuring out how we're gonna sign you up because I think the room is gonna be full for this. I was asked if we could have this for the whole law trip, and I said, no, thank you. We're gonna have it just for our office. Guys, so by the time the 21st comes, the feds are gonna meet, the housing report's gonna be out, the job report's gonna be out, and Doug's gonna look at that and go, here's what I see happening. Now, he said early in the years, I told you all the rates will be doing what? Coming down, hadn't happened yet, not anything yet, but he also, and also the guy from an hour said rates will be coming down. So guys, this is gonna be an exceptional meeting. Pat Blood's gonna be here to lead it, because he knows Doug, I do not. But Doug Duncan is the one that has forecasted more correctly what's going on in the market. Anybody that I know, so guys, please put it on your calendar, September 21st, in this room from 9:30 to 11:30. Basically, it's gonna be breakfast from 9:30 to 10. Doug will be with us via Zoom from 10 to 11, and extra questions from 11 to 11:30. I'm looking forward to that's coming up.
Since it's
George-
tight in the room, will Zoom be available to dial into if you can't be here?
Sure, we can do it, can't we? Yeah, we'll do that, sure. I'm gonna do it for sure. Door decorating contest. This is something that Sherry came up with, so you decorate your office door if you're here or your door at home, and whoever, has the most beautiful decorated, door. I'm not judging it, but somebody will be, you will get prizes. I'm not sure what it is, but you'll get prizes. September the 1st, starting. Lessons learned, we done. All right, so guys, so a few weeks ago, several, I think 20 of us went to Mega Camp. Someone tell me what Mega Camp is. What is Mega Camp?
It's where all the mega top agents come and sit with Gary on stage and just talk about all their massive tips and best practices that made them successful.
I like that. Okay. Who's been here the longest? Paige? Were you at the first Mega Camp? Who's been here longer than Paige? Anybody here at all? What was it like?
I wasn't at the first.
Yeah. Used to be Gary, which is top agent. They'd be Mega Camp to go. Mega agent to go, whatever that meant, that point. But now there's about, I think there's like 8,000 to 10,000 people there. Does that make sense? And guys, Gary has got one group after another. They're talking about what they've done to grow the business. Now, I love there was a guy there. He was either 20 or 23 years old and sold up in Virginia. His first year, he did 15 or 18 deals.
Yeah.
Maybe even 20. And he's on pace this year to do 50 in his second year. And he's 20-some years old. So the question is, how's he doing 50 this year, he thinks? He's at way past 20 right now. Yet the market is not what people consider to be a great market. So who saw him?
He used one tool, and he did it consistently, and he did it with abundance, and he did it with prioritizing his life around it. I mean, all of those things that you can say. He let nothing interfere with the one thing, the golden letter.
All right, tell us about the golden letter. Tell us about the golden letter.
The guy, I don't know his name.
It's the guy you're thinking of because he was on the shift call.
Right.
What's that guy?
Right, and he was here too, via Zoom. So I know who you're talking about.
Okay, so golden ladder is.
He did the golden letter, and
It's not that guy. That's not
Alright.
Montre.
This may be just what it's named right now.
Post it on Facebook once you find out.
You wanna know, so I can
Paige wants to tell us about the golden letter.
Paige, we wanna hear you.
Look him up. When you have the name, let me know, okay? So tell us about the golden letter.
he wrote a simple letter and he put it on a plain piece of paper and he put it in a plain envelope and no return address on it. And it said, I have buyers that are interested in buying property similar to yours. If you are interested, please contact me at 123-456. Sincerely, Billy Bobsled, Keller Williams, North Atlanta.
That's it.
3,000 of them, right, a month, I think he said?
He's up to 10 now.
Oh, 10,000, but he started like 3,000.
And he started with an area that had a lot of absentee owners. So he did a lot of, his listing appointments via Zoom because he couldn't get his car out of the garage because the repo guy was looking for his car. And so the first 6 months of the year, he didn't have a car to drive. The next 6 months, he was able to bring it out of the garage.
Wow.
Man, do you have his name yet?
Yeah, it's Montez McCray.
I don't think so. No.
Are you sure?
He's the one that did it at Mega Camp though. He
Yeah.
talked about
He
that.
was at Mega Camp, and that's the story. he told.
Yeah,
Two
yeah,
guys.
that's right.
So-
Here,
so-
yeah.
Yeah,
So the question is,
yeah, this is him.
Yeah,
that's it, that's him.
Was
Young guy.
That's him, yeah.
And the thing about it that went over and over and over was that he did it over and over and over. The one thing, he was consistent with
So same area page, community?
No. Well, he just kept doing it, you know, I mean, he just.
Same list.
He started with
The
the
same
list.
list.
And then every, so, repeat that, and then he would increase it, and then he would increase it, and then he would do it over, you know. But the whole point is simple and consistent. That's it, and he zeroed in on one thing, and he had no money. That's the point, he had no money, so he couldn't get a billboard or, you know, buy ads on social media. He had no money. I mean, this was his only form of marketing.
and yet that's a lot of postage.
Yeah.
But he started with this farm and then
And
it
that was
grew,
it.
and then it grew, and then it grew. So he didn't start off with 10,000. He started off with a couple subdivisions. And then as it continued to work, the money that he made from it, you reinvest. And now you
Yep.
have a bigger budget to go ahead and do more neighborhoods.
So Angela, tell me what you learned, because is the market in Upper Virginia better or worse than the market is here?
No.
No, okay, so tell me what you learned from what that man said.
Is similar to what Paige said, just being laser focused. He found his one thing. And it wasn't calls, it wasn't door knocking, it wasn't open houses, it was Circle Prospect. And he developed a system around Circle Prospect. He reinvested into his business so that he can grow, and it pays tenfold.
So tell me what you all heard from what you just now said. What did you hear? What are you learning from that? What did you hear? Because here's a man that is in the market doing exceptional business. I've heard of 21 too young to sell real estate. That's not true. That's not true. It's 71 too old to sell real estate. Well, that could be true. That's why I'm not selling anyway, guys. But I hear that, and tell me what you learned from that right there. What did it tell you? Beth, what did it tell you?
Good, because I was thinking about it, and what I heard was instead of, well, on Mondays I do these 5 things, and then on Tuesdays I do these 6 other things, and then those aren't really working, so on Wednesday I'm gonna try 4 more things, and then I'm still not getting any results, so on Thursday I'm gonna try 3 other things I just read about online. Instead, he just went with one thing and stayed with it. He probably, like, how many, did he mention how long it took for the first person to call him? I'm sure it wasn't the first batch he sent out. You know, maybe it was, but it was the first batch.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was.
He got a call,
Yeah.
so maybe that's why he's
But out of
with it,
3,000,
but
he only got like.
but maybe got a call,
Yeah.
but he didn't go, oh, well, I just sent out, 150 and I got 1 response, that's not good, I'm gonna stop. He stayed with it.
That's right. That's the whole thing.
Stay
He
with
stuck
it.
with
been in
focus.
business 2 years.
Exactly.
And he's 22.
Easy,
Like,
easy
this
to just
is-
go, ugh.
You would
I gotta try
expect
something else.
someone fresh out of college not to have that type of intensity, but to say, you know what, this works and I'm gonna focus on this and just expand the business that way.
I think that our industry as a whole, because of the mindset that we are, we tend to wanna jump from this to this and the next shiny object. Oh my gosh, maybe I'll try that, maybe I'll try that. That's kinda how we operate. That's why we're at the top of our business. But the thing about it is, it's exactly the opposite, and we have to learn from the budgeting that goes along with all of that, is that when you go into this, you have to know you have the money to do it for how long? And you have to be committed. Ooh, committed. You have to be committed to it financially, mentally, physically, spiritually, everything, all of the above. You've got to be committed to it. And we try to do it 18 months. And then we had something that started the beginning of this year that we said we would do for 18 months until it either proved not to be what we want to do or was giving us the proper ROI. And in 3 months in, we said, hey, wait a minute, we're done. So you have to be able to adjust too, but to be committed. Yes, pivot.
Just who's what Up City is? Raise your hand, what Up City is, okay, raise your hand, okay? Someone tell me, who's not spoken yet, what Up City is. Who it is?
Yeah. App City basically kind of gives leads. I know that they've changed their model more recently, but it was kind of essentially like a jump ball, and it's kind of like, you know, I guess if you're signed up to work in that area, they'll contact you and you sort of pay them from the closing. And I think it was somewhere like between 35 or 40%. But it depends on the amount of the property.
Anybody else want to ask about Up City? Okay, so I hear a lot, oh, Jim, I need some free leads. Talk about Up City, Rob.
So opposite, well, first I'm gonna preface this by what I say every single time. There's no bad lead, okay? I don't care what lead source it is, right? There's no bad lead. So in Op City, they give you the lead. Say I get Authorine's name and you said she's purchasing a house, right? She filled out a form somewhere, somehow, right? And she might have filled that out last night. My job then is to contact her. And you guys do a lot of lead generation, right? So how many times do you think you need to contact somebody, and Ivan knows this, until you actually have a conversation with them?
3 or 4 or 5. Can be 7 to 9 times.
It's 7 to 9 times. It's actually up to 11, right? And here's the problem. Everyone says these leads stink, right? So Op City, they're smart. They came up with AI for real estate before AI was in real estate. It's a computer program that's testing you to see if you match their lead sources, okay? So in the beginning, are you gonna get a $900,000 purchase? So he did that with me for a while, right? And you have to take the rental, that someone wants to rent a 5-bedroom house for $800, right? They're on there. But here's the deal. The system doesn't care what the lead is. I mean, what they want. The system wants to see that you made a phone call, that you followed up with them, that you got an appointment, even if you know you can't give them what they want. The system gives you checks for all those things. And once you go through some of those bad leads, right? All of a sudden now you get a 250. No, you don't get great yet. You get 250, and you get 300, right? And you start doing what it wants, and the system's saying this person is willing to take what we're doing and doing the system. And then all of a sudden you start getting, so Jim and I can turn you on Op City today. But you gotta be committed to go through the slop, they do it, because if not, it rates you, you get a score. And all of a sudden, you're gonna see your score keeps going down, why did I? So you just need to understand what the lead source is. So like if I'm on a team and Paige keeps giving me leads, right? And Rob doesn't have any appointments, and she can see that I've made no phone calls or anything. She has AI, it's called Paige AI, right? And she go, I'm not giving this dude any of my leads anymore. Had nothing to do with the lead. Have you given rentals out?
I do,
Why?
because renters become buyers.
There you go. So it's called Op City, it could be called Paige Morgan or anybody else.
The thing is that there are leads out there right now. But as an agent once said this room, but I'm willing to do the activities you're not willing to do. That young man in Virginia was willing to do the activity I'm not willing to do. Or some of those people are trying to do the activities. So guys, realize that I got loudly and clearly from Mega Camp, it says a lot of leads out there right now, but you gotta find them. You have to do it for how many people, find the leads. So that was my big takeaway. If you want the lead, they're out there right now. If a man up in Virginia can do that many deals in 1 year, his first year 22, anyone in this room that can do it. Okay. Who else was that? What was that Mega Camp? Who else was Mega Camp? Christian, what did you take away from Mega Camp?
I know this one sounds kind of silly, and we probably think, oh, we do this all the time, but they said, think about when you've got a rental and there's 100 phone calls, or you've got a low price listing and you're getting your phone's blowing up and you're just frustrated. And sometimes we're a little bit snippier than we probably need to be. And they said, be kind, be patient. Remember, there's a person at the other end of that line. And I think sometimes we forget that when we get busy. But my big one was events. So I always think, oh, I can't afford to throw events and parties. Those are just too expensive. And one guy's doing Reds games in Cincinnati with buses and tailgate parties and big blocks of tickets. But one little lady in Cincinnati was on stage right after him and said, I have no money. I'm just little old me. I sell houses that are like $150,000. She goes, my husband does a whole bunch of beef and we have taco parties for either somebody's new home, or it could be a client appreciation. She goes, I get a bag of lettuce, a bag of cheese, and a margarita machine. She goes, and it's super cheap and it's super easy, and that way I'm not fussing with food and I can talk to their friends and everything. She goes, so don't think you always have to go big when you do something. You can go very small and it's just the effort's appreciated.
She was doing housewarming parties.
Housewarming parties, yeah.
Right, so it doesn't matter if it's $1 million house or 100,000 people eat tacos.
Yeah.
That's right.
She's like, so just be simple and make it easy for yourself and make it easy for them. And one guy even said he does the parties in the front yard.
Yeah.
He'll bring a
She's got her
taco
kids
truck out.
coming too.
Yeah, some of them, yeah, the kids help out at the parties, but it doesn't even have to be in the house. So if they're not ready to unpack and have people in their house yet, we can just do it all outside. So it's a lot.
Who else was there? Yes, ma'am.
I would say too, they talked about, Gary talked about happy versus hustle.
Say one more time.
Happy versus hustle.
Yes, yes.
And I thought that was really awesome too, because he wanted us to be reminded that as we're going through the momentum of making calls and doing our job, to always remember to be content with the outcome and not let us bring the outcome down to change our mindset or to pull us down completely, to kind of keep remembering to be content with results and with, is it the hustle, is a situation or circumstance going to completely deteriorate, take away your happy, or can you still be happy and content regardless of that? And to keep that in mind and be reminded of that.
I love that one too.
Yeah, like 5 no's always, turn into a yes, so keep that in mind.
I like that one, Charlie. All right, who else was there? Yes, ma'am, Leah.
Yeah, so there was a couple people who said this, but they were talking about do your best. And it's not just about do your best, it's find something that you can get better at doing every single day. So it kind of goes in line with that one thing, just doing it better every day. And I heard a couple people speak about that on the stage. And then
Say for that for 1 second. Say it one more time. Everybody listen. This was a really important area. Say it again.
so you know how you think in your mind, I'm gonna do my best. I'm just gonna do my best at whatever it is. I saw a couple people on the stage really talking about doing better every day, whether it's with that one thing that you just get better every day. So it sort of goes along the lines of consistency and something that you know you can just get better and better at. Instead of just saying, oh, I'm just gonna do my best. And I really like that, took it away, and I'm trying to do that now. And I should say, I'm not trying, I'm doing.
There's no try, right, Lynn?
That's
You're
right.
you're working
So
on
see,
it.
I'm working on my wording too. Yes, clearly.
I love that one. I love that one. Okay, good. Anything else that you want to share with us?
I like also, I don't remember who it was, I wish I could remember, but that, sometimes you might have a lead, whether it's a buyer or seller, and you really don't have a what happens next. They go away, you've worked with them, and then they just disappear for a while. You get a hold of them for some reason. And then bringing it back to this is what happens next. Always have a this is what happens next, so that you don't lose them in that shuffle. And I
That
like
makes sense,
that.
all right?
Yeah.
Well, I loved what they said about that too, that we have a group text set up, everybody has it. And the minute it closes, we disregard, we erase that group text. And the tip was to keep the group text going and every once in a while go, how you doing, what's up? Did your dog love the backyard? Or whatever, but not to discontinue the group texting, to keep your whole team on it.
I love that too, all right? Who else?
You can share something. So something I really got from it was, there was this MAPS coach up there and she was talking about red light, green light. We all think about red light, green light with like money, right? Like turn the faucet on, turn it off. But she talked about doing it with your time and with your time blocking and like what's important to you in your life. And it kind of fed right back into that like happy versus hustle. And that was kind of like the theme for like everything. It was like happy versus hustle.
How do you use that in your business and everything?
I'm using it more in my personal life right now.
Which means what?
Like I'm not talking to clients after, 8 p.m. I have now set, contingencies, because I got somebody under contract at Mega Camp. And so now my contingencies, if it ends on a weekend or a holiday, it's extended to the next business day. It's like what's important to me and like what's my big why and like why am I doing things that are counterproductive to that, Sabotaging myself.
Anybody else? As soon as they brought back their call, that was excellent, you don't add to your business. Anybody else? I feel like just, Bob, did you have anything else that you thought was exceptional?
Guy who wrote that sales book, get his name. What's it on? Yeah, Dr. Phil Jones.
Exactly right, sure. Yes.
Wrote an awesome book about sales and, so when you think salesperson, right? Is that a warm fuzzy,
No.
right? So give me some words that you think about a salesperson.
Used car salesman.
Cars.
Used car
You're like a used car salesman.
Bushy,
Commission breath.
commission breath, right? That's what the consumer thinks,
Of us.
okay, of all of us in this room. Okay, so what we have to do is be more consultative, to really, and I say this all the time to clients when I was in production, I don't care when you buy or when you sell. I really don't. It's totally about you and what you and your family want, whether you're gonna do it in 3 years or in 3 hours. I'm gonna be in the business in 3 years, right? How are we gonna get you to your things? And you have to get out of your own way. He was talking about mindset and everything. And I forced Gina the other day to do something, talking about video tech. He was saying, it's so great to see. Face-to-face is the #1 thing, right? And then you got text and you got email and everything.
Second is voice to voice.
Voice to voice, right?
Right.
So she thought she was getting ghosted by somebody at an open house. She followed up, and I said, listen, they don't wake up in the morning thinking, wonder what Gina's doing today. And she was like, they are totally blowing me off and everything. And so I gave her a script to call, but she did a video.
She was like, I hate it. I saw her in a car, I was going to lunch. She goes, I've done this 3 times, I had to get my hair right and everything. Just do it, just do it. What happened?
The husband texted me back, that evening and said, I have been traveling, we're not ghosting you. And, my corporate, it was a corporate relo, and we decided that we were going to take them up on the 6 months for temporary housing, since they offered it as part of his package. And he acknowledged that I had set him up on some auto searches, acknowledged that he thought that we had kind of hit it off at the open house, and asked me just to stay in touch with him periodically over the next 6 months. But he said with kids getting in school, holidays right around the corner, we are gonna take advantage of the company for their complimentary housing, for the 6 months.
People are going through life.
Yeah.
And we just happen to step into it for a second.
But they complimented me on the video. They're like, that was the coolest thing. We showed the kids. They were
What-
like, oh, that's the lady
What was
with
the
the
script?
treats at the open house.
This is what we do in script
I
practice.
have it on my phone, you can do it.
So real simple, I forget the guy's name, but hey Stan, this is Rob. Listen, I apologize. I know I've been reaching out to you and really probably blowing up your phone. Hey, listen, it's not about me. It's about you guys. I just want to make sure, I thought your time frame was real short and I wanted to make sure I stayed on top of it. But obviously, your time frame is a little longer because you haven't gotten back to me. I just want to let you know whether you buy now, 6 months or a year, I just want to have that relationship. So I deeply apologize for blowing you up. That was pretty much it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can I ask you a question? Had you already talked to those clients
Oh,
at
yeah.
the open house?
Yes.
Okay, what do you do in a situation where we have a potential lead and they don't reply back? I think that might be presumptuous.
That's why we do
especially-
script practice every Wednesday.
No, I'm just saying, like
Yeah.
Zillow calls, they get multiple agents calling a client. from-
No.
Yes, they do. I've had 2 clients in the last couple of weeks that have said, once they put a tour request, they
Correct.
were inundated with Zillow.
They
agents.
probably, so I ran
the.
the Zillow program for a long time, as long as Beth and Russell has done it. Here's what happens. You're right, they are getting other calls.
They are.
You weren't the only tour. They were like, we're gonna go out this Saturday, see, so they hit the tour on this one, and this one. So it's the other agents hitting them,
Why is that happening?
because they're not,
I thought we were.
they're the consumer, right? So Zillow or any lead source is just the pot that all the houses are in. We used to have these things called, now I'm dating myself. Remember Homes and Land magazine? They were in Kroger,
Yep.
right? They were at the bus stop,
Yeah.
right? They were everywhere because that's how the broker, not you the agent, how the broker distributed the information. Now Zillow has all of this information. They don't sell houses. They make money off of you selling houses.
Right.
So they just want you to get that lead, but when you get the lead, right? You already know what they want. I can tell you exactly what every single one of them wants. You know what they want?
Tell me.
They want you to open a door for them.
For sure.
No, not for sure. That's what you do.
No, I know.
So you have to give them what they want, right? You give them that first look. Where the training comes in is how you transition them from that appointment to a buyer's consultation. So I had a couple of people, actually a couple of them are here, that came to me from your team and wanted, hey, we're having a hard time getting people to sign the BBA. Here's the BBA, I need you to sign this. Versus having a buyer consultation. That could be 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be long. And you have to give some value to them in order for them to say, wow, that would be great to work. No one else is doing that.
Green Trails, I got called 11 times. Is that true?
I mean,
You have to call them 11 times. Also, you agree with that? And maybe 11 times before you get them?
Not more sometimes.
I'm over them. So and I'm not calling leads, so I'm not gonna act like I am, but I think consistency is the ones that call the 11 time they're gonna get the business, so it's just consistency.
But that's
Nurture.
interesting, Rob, what you said about, because literally in the past 2 weeks, I've had two of my, I mean, we are in the BBA situation, and before they came to me exclusively, they were inundated with other agents working on behalf of Philip, and I was like, that's bad.
No, they were inundated because they wanted to look at a bunch of
Yeah,
different properties.
so they allow that? I thought, I guess I misunderstood. I
So
thought
here,
that they
here's,
gave it
here's,
to one agent for
okay, I'm gonna
different
give you,
homes.
I'm gonna give you what would be key to the client. Key to the client is they're in chaos. Yes.
Not necessarily.
You want to say that's.
Well,
yes,
that's what
depending on
we
the
were
program.
told.
It can, only if they decline the my agent relationship.
Right.
So here's,
And they-
but let me help
always
you,
have a
let me
bid.
help everybody here. The consumer, not a client yet, they're the consumer, they just want to see a property. So you get them to see the property, and most of them have experienced all these other, hey, can I share with you a few ways that I can help make your home buying experience a lot easier? Instead of getting all these agents calling you and everything, would that be a help? Right? And then I do a buyer presentation, and then I talk about having a relationship, right? So you gotta meet them, we say all the time, seek to understand, you gotta understand where they're at before you can solve, they don't know they're sick.
Leah had the answer. What's next? That's the answer. If you, before we have the fun, you don't know what's next, you probably won't get it back. So guys, I have a question for you. So
Thank you.
there was a wonderful group there that was called the CEO Summit. First year we invited to go to it, but then we opened it to everybody, okay? And it was a lot of team leaders there. I gave my ticket away to somebody that really wanted to go. So I did that. But one new team leader went to see it, and I said, give me a rating of 1 to 10 how the CEO Summit was. She said, probably 4 or 5. You know, really? But I talked to people that have been going for several years, and the other 5 said probably a 10 out of 1 to 10. Why do you think that other leaders saw it as a 4 to 5? And because other people that have been in this for a little longer thought it was a 2? What's the difference?
Experience and perspective.
Say again?
Experience and perspective.
All right, let's go with that in there. See what you mean with that.
They may not be at the level to really take in everything that's being presented.
Okay.
To be able to implement it. Whereas someone who's done it and been there more is gaining more tools and knowledge in their belt and knows how to implement it amongst the people.
Maybe they don't see themselves as a CEO.
Yeah.
Wow. Anybody else want to add on that? Why, Virginia, why is your experience different than maybe New Agent?
It's all perspective and how open your mind is. Because my immediate thing when I heard that letter is I just throw those things away, they're junk, but obviously a lot of people open them, you know, so it has to keeping your mind open, keeping it as a filter instead of a stop.
Perspective like that. I bet, we haven't asked you, what was your favorite thing from Mega Camps?
Two things that really get attention on it is the way that these successful agents manage their time and focus on those activities that work for everyone. We are different, so we have different activities. Look up for those that they work for you and leverage. That was like, I knew it, but I haven't concentrated on that, and then time manage, it's important as well, to follow up your agenda.
Okay, you're always learning new stuff, always, you're at every event learning new stuff. All right, let's end by talking about what Gary said about the market. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wanted to add one more
Sure,
thing to what
absolutely,
Yvette
yes.
was saying. I also thought what was really fascinating was the vendors that were there. And as well, one of the vendor stops that I made was at a booth where he wanted to check my online presence. And that was an eye opener as well. And because we went through 7 of the places like where as a realtor people could find you online, and I haven't cleaned it up as yet. And I think they charge like $1,300 to do it for you, but
How
to like
much?
$1,300 to like do it for you. So however, like your online presence on like YouTube, on like just your bio, and if someone goes to like realtor.com, my phone number isn't actually even on realtor.com, like under my bio, it's the office number. So to just go over there and just make sure your phone number is there, just add testimonials and just clean up. So I really, started to focus on cleaning up my presence a little. I started working on it, and still working on it.
Which is a good thing all of us do, isn't it? Really
Yeah,
is, to
yeah.
look at the online presence.
Yeah.
So who in here either was here today and saw it, or they're live at Camp and saw Gary's opening remarks on the state of the economy? Or if you saw it, okay? Great. All right, so tell me what you got from it. What did you hear Gary say?
It's always the right time to buy the right piece of real estate.
Say it one more time.
It's always the right time to buy the right piece of real estate.
I like that. What else did you hear Gary say? Say again?
So interesting, I love that.
I
That's what-
said,
that
I
was my
love that.
favorite.
I like that. It's always the right time to buy real estate. Always, right? What else did y'all hear Gary say?
Over 80% of people have equity in their homes.
Say it again?
Over 80% of people have equity in their homes.
Ooh.
75?
70. Have over 50%.
And over 7% also have what? A mortgage under what?
50%.
Under 4%? I'm mortgage rate. See, this is the wrong thing. See, mortgage under what? 4%. So they're thinking, all right, so I'm gonna sell my house, and I got a 4% rate, and I'm gonna buy a smaller one, and I'm gonna have a 7% rate. Why would I do that? And that's
Because I
one
want a
of the main
smaller
reasons
house.
people are not selling them. Say it again?
Because I want a smaller house.
Is that correct? Yes.
Because it suits my lifestyle.
Exactly. That might be a good idea for them to buy a smaller house anyway, even though the rate's higher?
Yes. Yes.
Is that correct? But what's perception though?
The reality.
Because they're not talking to one of us, are they? And I sit down and think, let's talk about everything, the way it looks like. What about the monthly power of this kind of stuff? But this is.
What about me being all on one level?
Yes.
What about me being on 2
100%.
stories?
Exactly.
What about me being in a different school system? I mean, these are reasons that people move. What about me getting a job somewhere else where I can make either a 4% mortgage or a 7% mortgage payment because I have a job in that city?
Closer to your goals. But the
Yeah.
purpose of what D'Angelo said is for those people who need to downsize, right size, move, they have enough equity in their home to put into the new home to offset that interest rate.
All right. Say it one more time, because that was something that Gary said a couple times. Not many people picked up on. Say it one more time.
So 39% of Americans they own their houses outright.
Right.
And then there's another 30% that have at least 50% equity. So those people, when they sell their home, they're gonna have enough equity to put into the new home where that interest rate won't be as much of a hit for them because they're putting down a lot more than your first time home buyer.
Sir.
I can't sit. Hold on a second.
I know you can.
Give me.
Are you gonna be brief?
Yes. So this presentation that he gave, like Reed and I were looking at it, you nailed the numbers, right?
I know, yeah.
Okay, so the presentation is here. So I saw something this weekend. If I was standing up here and it was 1975, right, and I lit up a cigarette, y'all would go crazy. If I did that today, y'all would go crazy, right? But that was just what it was. And did you know that lung cancer isn't caused by cigarettes? 80% of it is the DNA that you have. You're still gonna get lung cancer, right? And if I go through and I explain that all to you,
you're all gonna believe that, right? It's wrong, right? But we're the ones who gets to tell this story. This story needs to be told, and there's only one person that can tell the story to your clients. And it's you, and you're passionate about it. Whether you've been through 5 markets, 10 markets, right? Ups and downs of interest rates, the crash and everything else. People don't know the truth. And they're not gonna get it on TV. They're not.
But as y'all listen to Gary, what do you think he said about the market? Is it good? Is it getting worse? He thinks it's gonna go to hell in a handbasket in a year. What did you hear Gary say? What did he say? I believe Gary is Steve Jobs to real estate. And all the good points, not the bad ones. You see Jobs is? You did good.
He said unemployment is 3.5.
He said it's about as bad as it's gonna get.
Exactly. I like that. Say it again, Leah.
He said unemployment is 3.5. He said people have jobs. Yeah. How could these be such dire times? I remember writing that down because I was like, yeah.
Say it again.
Good point. He said people have jobs. How could these be such dire times?
Right. You said that? Yes, ma'am.
My big takeaway was just how important it is to be educators in this market more than ever. It's always important, but just.
Can we give her a hand for that? Can we give her a hand for that? Tell me what that means. What does that mean?
Knowing the slide deck and being able to present that information in a way that's relevant to the clients, and so knowing about the equity. And so even if it's not purchasing their next forever home, maybe getting into investing or just finding a way to help them to understand that right now is the best time to buy the right property, and being able to, with intelligence, articulate that with facts and scripts.
What they can understand.
Yes.
Without just sensory overload with all this information coming out at them, mostly negative.
It was negative. On one of the news channels I heard about in the past week, that sellers may lose a lot of their equity. That's not gonna happen. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I like how we basically focus on like people's lifestyle. That's what we really
What's
boils
that,
down.
son?
Like people's lifestyle.
Gotcha.
It just boils down to your lifestyle. I mean, and then also kind of like being, I guess what the current generation would say, being woke.
Yeah.
You know, understanding the numbers and just really understanding your clients' needs and just being in the know and just using like what is going on to your advantage. Like me, I have a client that I was having an issue getting them, you know, to understand like the numbers. And a lot of times, especially like first time buyers, they don't understand the numbers, you know, and me coming to realization that my client talks to a lot of people, just like all of us. And, you know, just understanding that and kind of showing them rather than telling them, showing them as far as numbers, you know, the numbers doesn't lie. The economy is gonna do whatever it's gonna do. You just have to decide if it's the right time for you, and you have to also decide as far as your budget as a buyer, that what is more important, you know, your lifestyle. I mean, buyers are gonna buy home, whether it's like, you know, whether it's today or next year or 5 years. And I just like how he just really focused on us really knowing the lifestyle of the client. And if you understand the lifestyle, then it kind of makes your job much easier rather than, you know, just focusing on the money aspect of it. And you really gonna be a better service to the client.
I agree with Rob, we know your scripts. But I will agree with something different, that you ask questions. One script is one thing, but you can tell me all these stats. And I can go, well, thanks for telling me all that. Thanks for your great scripts, but you haven't asked me any questions yet. You haven't asked me, what's important to you? What's important to you? Because guys, my dad's favorite quote was, now think about this, is the company one. The person that talks the most loses. The conversation went the best.
Yeah.
And if you talk all the time, even use all your wonderful scripts, Person would go, great, they talk a lot. And you can change it.
Telling and selling. Exactly
right, yeah. Right, so guys, learning how to ask great questions, wonderful, is huge. Keep asking great questions. The person asks the question, the one's controlling the conversation. Keep asking questions, keep asking questions. And they said, well, the market's going to hell in a handbasket. You go, all right, Page Morgan. I understand market's going to go to hell in a handbasket. Ms. Morgan, what do you think?
Well, I happen to disagree with you on that, but you
Well, that's what No More News says.
I know that, and I try not to listen to that as much as I have in the past, because everybody has an opinion. But what I know today is that we are going to continue selling houses because we are going to continue living in houses. We haven't started living in tents yet, so let me go off script. Totally. Tell you a story, because I got a lot of that out of Mega Camp, is to go off script and tell a story. And there are people in this room that have worked with me long enough that know that I'm a storyteller, and that it entrenches it for me, and I hope in other people. But I got a phone call last week from a past client mother, and I am now working with the past client's son. And the son called the mother after we had finished showing the houses and we had narrowed it down to a couple. And he said to his mother, well, I mean, Mom, something that you need to understand is that this is not my forever home. I'm only gonna be there for 3 to 5 years, and in 3 to 5 years, one thing is gonna happen to that house. It's either gonna go up for sale or it's gonna become an investment property for me. And she said that she nearly wet her pants laughing. He just graduated from college, and she's buying the house. And she's like, I can just see the two of y'all out and you saying to him, now Jacob, understand this is not your forever home, because we were seeing some houses in his price point that had blemishes on it. So I was trying to explain to him, you're not gonna be there forever. But I think that is more important, is to tell the story to the person. And that's where I want to go when people, this kid has got a fabulous job and he's just graduated from college, and I've sold his parents' home and they've already moved to the lake, right? So he's got to buy a house or go rent an apartment, you know, which is not, so it doesn't matter what the interest rate is. It really doesn't. He has to have a place to live, because he has been hired on to a job at $180,000 a year starting pay.
A recent college graduate.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's
how my
son.
Yes, yes, ma'am, it's a good question.
Say that I will finish with this conversation, like, the consumers doesn't like to be treated as a consumers. They like to be treated as a human beings. And I think that we as an agents learn that what that means for every single person is when we can attach to them, when we can create that connection, human connection.
I like that too, because once you have that connection with them,
Then they can trust on you.
I agree. 100%.
So Jim, we talk about this a lot in our meetings, and you know, if that question was posed, what we like to say is, whoa, that is, where did you hear that? What does hell in a handbasket even mean to you? Like, what does that mean? I know, are they parroting something, or do they actually have information they think that they have? Make them tell you why they just said that.
I love it.
Where'd they get it?
Which
Where'd
uncle
you
told
hear
you
that?
that?
Yeah. Or, I mean, I don't even know if I'd go, I haven't heard that. Where did you, I wouldn't even bring myself into it. I would literally be like, geez, where did you even get that? What does that mean?
So the one you heard, Gary, Do you think Gary thinks the market is gonna go to hell in a handbasket?
No.
Okay. Give me some quick talking points, what do you think Gary said, what did he say? What did he say?
Well, the GDP is strong, unemployment is low, people are making more money now than they ever have before. And there's going to be 4.8 million homes sold. We don't have to sell all 4.8, we just need to get our portion.
Unfair share.
Unfair share.
It's not unfair, we earn it.
I like that.
It's not unfair.
What else did you hear Gary say?
Talked about real estate being in a rolling recession.
A rolling recession, okay, we can talk about that. Who else?
About the unemployment chart that he gave us, it says that how important the unemployment numbers is, or how they is connected to the inflation. It says on 2023, talking about millions, there is unemployed people for on June 2023, it's 5.95 million. Job openings on the same month is 9.58 million. How the inflation can be having those opportunities.
So unemployment is historically low. People are making more money now than ever. We were at a lower end breakfast restaurant on Monday morning, and they said before you walk in, realize it's gonna be 30 minutes away to get your food to you. Because they had no what?
Help.
They had no help. So people weren't taking the job, okay, guys? So, and 7% interest rates, where does that rank over the past 25 years?
Below average.
What?
Just below average.
Right below it. Is that where it is, Kyle? Yeah, is that where it is? So is 7% terrible, Kyle?
No.
But do the people out there think 7% is terrible?
Yeah.
Why is that? They're used to it. I hate the gas price where they are right now, and I can afford them, but I hate them because I used to pay what? $1.99. Well, I hate them. Look at the steak I didn't buy it. It was $45 for me. I thought, I'm not paying $45 for steak. I'm not doing it, because I, so the perception
Came out with
is
little,
right.
to pump his gas pump.
Yeah. So last but not least, yes, sir.
Say something real quick. Okay, would you join me to say happy birthday to this pretty woman right here?
How do you say 27 in Spanish?
Sí, 27 años.
Yes, ma'am.
What I loved was when I went back through my notes, on page 1 of my note, first day, it said, your calendar is how you protect your time. Yes. And on the very last page, it says red light, green light, calendar, as well as your checkbook. So it tells me that that is something that is equally as important as anything else that we've talked about. Everybody talked about calendaring versus scheduling versus appointments. And it's just something that if we are not doing it now, what are we going to do when we have 45 listings again?
Right. So who has been in business more than 25 years? Russell?
23.
23, more than 20, hold your hand up, more than 20, okay? All right, everyone's got their hand up, give me, what's your worst market ever? Ed, what about you, worst market ever?
7.
7, okay? Mike, Virginia, you want?
Like 2008.
2008?
Yeah.
8?
8, 9.
Okay, anybody else?
8.
8. Page?
80.
84. I got to 84, worst market ever. Interest rates were 14.5%.
Yeah.
You guys, I didn't know about it. I saw real estate. No one told me it's a bad market. I saw real estate. So guys, so perception is reality. So guys, when I came here in 2011, I thought my agent not selling houses because it's a terrible market. Came over here, people are selling houses. Guess what? They adjusted. Worst market ever. What do you say was worst market ever? Worst market ever, yes.
I've been through too. I would say probably the 80s.
80s, got it. How many people were in the business in 1984? Almost nobody. A few of us, right? You don't remember it, do you? You don't remember it. So guys, but what is interesting is that we sold just as many houses in 2008 as we did in 2010 as we did in 2016. Feel that? Just as many houses. Look at that.
Say that one more
Fact check
time.
me.
Say it again.
Say that one
We
more
sold
time.
just as many houses in 2008 as we did in 2010, 2012. Just as many
Right,
houses.
right, because of inventory.
Inventory, exactly right, Jeff, because why inventory? So do you know why we sold houses? Because people that changed the way they sold houses did well.
Correct, they pivoted quickly.
Quickly.
They
Wrap
did
around
quickly.
mortgages.
Exactly right, Jeff. So
Balloon
guys,
payments.
what did Gary Keller say? When's the best time to buy property?
Now.
Now, now, right now, because it's not going to be cheaper. We're running out of land, guys, we're running out of land right now. So guys, the market is, unfortunately, right now, people are not selling for whatever reason. But as soon as those rates hit what, 5.75%? Now, when this don't happen, it's your guess as well as mine. So guys, be out there, the market is not dying, interest rates are not terrible. We need to be telling people one at a time, tell me why the market is one person at a time, is sharing the knowledge. If you do that, on the database, you'll be ahead of the game when that market comes back. Is it gonna come back, Paige?
Absolutely.
It's gonna come back? It's gonna come back, I promise you it is. When it does, you're still gonna be thinking, where's my database? You're still gonna look for it. Can you help me get the database?
Yes.
That's right, so guys, get ahead of the curve right now. I keep telling you to get ahead of the curve. If not, when that happens, we'll go fight. Anything else you wanna add before we close up, sir, late?
Somebody drives a black Jeep and it's got a Michigan license plate, and I am dying to know who that is.
Anybody in here?
If it's the first parking spot by the door, it's another company that works up here.
Okay, cool, I'm gonna go find it.
Hey, y'all, thank you all for coming. Thanks for participating. Yay!
I wanna go be friends with them.
We need to miss you.
Oh,